Good morning, my dear friends. Happy Hump Day. I'm double checking. Is it really Wednesday? Yeah, I think so. Or is it? Yeah. Oh boy, what a day. Good morning, all. Cheers. Today's brought to you by Seth Johnston. Seth asked a question as to how come I know my flavors. How do I get so right on my flavors when I do uh, a review of cannabis? And I thought, what a good question. What a good question. I wasn't always that good. It took a while to dial the taste buds in. And to be honest, I shouldn't do a review right now. I have really bad taste buds because I've been taking a steroidal nasal spray for the congestion that I've got in my nose and my ears, and it really kills your taste buds. Even sushi the other night wasn't as good as I had hoped it would be, but it wasn't the sushi's fault. Uh, your mouth has to be fresh. So I'm going to give a couple of hints as to how to get the most of the flavor out of your cannabis. I don't do this every time before I smoke, but I sure do it before a review. And I do it whenever I get a new strain anyway. I first go to Leafly and allbud.com and look at, not only do I look at what they say the flavor should be, but I look at the history of the plant. And this took a while. I really didn't know much about strains 3, 4 years ago. But by studying strains for the last 3 or 4 years, I've become rather accustomed to who could be the parents and what the lineage means to a plant and how it can pass on some of its terpenes. That's one. So I'm kind of cheating in the beginning, but I know through Leafly and or Allbud, say Granddaddy Purple is going to taste like grapes. But then I got to remember this is an overall review in Leafly about a strain. I am tasting a variation of that strain. Somebody's grown it. They don't always grow the same. They don't always act the same. So I know what to expect, but I also know not to totally expect it. I also, seriously, I go and I wash out my mouth, not with the toothbrush. You don't want the taste of toothpaste in your mouth just before trying to determine a flavor. I swish it with water. Sometimes just a little bit of salt water, but usually just water. Swish my mouth out really good and have a nice long drink of water, just so that I'm fresh. But then when I took it, I realized, very seriously, I realized that the very first toke, depending on how you hold your lighter, I don't like the flame to really touch the plant. Uh, the first toke is mostly the there's not a lot of flavor in the first toke. It's mostly the THC that's melting off and forming a vapor and going into your lungs. It's the second and third toke that the flavor starts to fill up, and you will have different flavor sensations on the inhale, on the hold, and on the exhale. And it's sitting there and trying to figure that out. Usually it's the third toke that I get the full flavor sensation. Also, take it onto the rosin category. If you have a BHO extraction, you have a plant that has less terpenes. It's not going to taste as much like the plant. It's not going to taste much like the terpenes. It's not going to have as much flavor. So you got to realize that, and you got to know every terpene has a different type of flavor too. Very difficult to get into that because there's so many different terpenes. And with rosin, most of the fats and the terpenes go with it. You get, but for the plant flavor itself, the almost floral flavor, the sweet comes with it, the floral flavor stays behind. It's kind of interesting, and I'm still in the learning stages. I analyze every time I toke. Once I got into tasting and trying to determine the taste, and sometimes I'm totally confused. Sometimes I take a flavor, taste a flavor, and I taste it 3, 4 times, and I just can't place it. And I go and I read it again, and I go, that doesn't seem right, but it gives me a hint. Or, hey, that's dead on. Yeah, that was spicy. So it's just a matter of paying really close attention, understanding that that first toke is not going to be much of the flavor, and toke slow. Don't ever get it too hot. The hotter you get it, the less flavor, the more you're burning the THC. So the lower the temp, the better. Even, yes, when you're just smoking the green in the bowl, that flame does not need to touch, or touch very little. Touch very little. Just an update near the end of this is I went to the doctor yesterday and had, because for 2 weeks I've had this steroidal nose spray, and it really hasn't been helping that much. And yesterday she put me on Novaproxene. I think that's what it is. And your hurting hippie has to eat breakfast now, because I take it twice a day, and it's got to be taken with a meal. And she said, you should be eating your breakfast anyway. Shame, 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 shame. So I'm on it. But I took my first one yesterday, and already today I'm starting to hear out of my ears rather than hear from the inside, because of the blockage that was caused from the nasal passages. So I think I'm finally on the way to healing. We'll see. We'll see. But I always keep you guys up to date. Peace and cheers, love and harmony. Happy hump day. I hope you have a great day. I'm on the beginning of mine, and you guys are always a part of it. Peace.